1988 marks the arrival of a new generation of powerful micros in schools. They're faster, they have much more memory, and can do more complex tasks. In this video, we'll be showing you the Archimedes as an example of these new computers in action on exciting projects.
Right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If I could have your attention for a moment, please. I'd like to welcome you all to the offices of the Iconoclast this morning for this newest and most forthright newspaper. I would like this newspaper to be in the great tradition of campaigning radical newspapers. And I have every faith in all of you that a newspaper will be produced by 3:30.
The progress of the newspaper, they've called the Iconoclast, with the day set by the teacher acting as proprietor, will introduce us to many ways that computers are used in schools.
Yeah, because we got an interview with the West Lindsey Council and the parish councillor, so we've got
As the newspaper progresses, we'll take time out to show just what these computers can do. We'll show links with advertising, business, processing information, and take a look into the future. These children are using computers in a number of different ways to create a newspaper in a single day. As they go about their reporting, they'll be discovering more about how computers are used in the rest of the school, both with older and younger children. And here at the William Farr Comprehensive School near Lincoln, one of the most popular uses of computers is in the art room. Right, how are you getting on?
I'm just changing the wing of the owl. You use the pointer like this. And you just go to the arrow. You use that to change the colours. You can zoom up on the bird and move that around.
So how long have you had on this machine?
About 2.5 weeks, really.
But not all the time, obviously.
No, for just two full lessons.
Do you find this fairly easy to use?
Yeah.
I notice you're not using the keyboard at all.
No, you don't have to learn anything from the keyboard.
Beth has had just 2 lessons using the computer and about 5 minutes of her teacher's undivided time. She hasn't had to learn too much technically, as the computer has what's called a WIMP environment. W for Windows, like these, which let you see the options open to you. I is for icons, the symbols to help you choose. M for menus, and P for pointer. In a normal busy art room, the computer can be a tool to use just like any other. Here they're fortunate in having 2 computers, a BBC B and the new Archimedes. All of this artwork was produced on computers. It's useful to have as many computers as possible. The older machines have a continuing use, but the new ones, like the Archimedes, have a greater range of colours. These pictures were done by 17-year-olds. But surely there must be a tussle sometimes to have a go on the machines.
Art teachers traditionally have got lots of organisational problems. We only have, for example, 2 potter's wheels, but we have classes of 30. But we also have 1 screen print bed. We only have 1 etching press. The addition of 1 computer is quite in order. We just move around. There's no real organisational problem, except for popularity. The culture of our children today is video. These children are working with 20th century methods and 20th century media. So I believe that all children should be at least educated in the field of video and computer graphics.
And computer graphics are coming into their own in the preparation of advertisements about local firms for the newspaper that the children are preparing today. Text as well as pictures on the screen is a bonus. But computers aren't just in the art room. What else is going on? At William Farr Comprehensive, there's a close link between art and craft design technology. And here in the CDT room, they're using computers for all kinds of useful things. Thank you. Jonathan is designing a circuit board for an automatic door lock for his GCSE exam project. The fast graphics of the machine offer him the chance to design his circuit and get it plotted out ready for checking. Besides the chance to share his ideas, the advantage of drawing out with a pen plotter is the size of the image. And the quality compares well with what you get in industry. The same plotter can be used to mark the board with acid-resist ink before etching.
Children can work on very simple projects using the computer, electronic circuit boards, for example. The computer in CDT is a very versatile tool. It enables us to design on the screen and to actually manufacture and to link the two things together, computer-aided design and computer-aided manufacture.
Three-dimensional images on screen are a breakthrough for micros and demonstrate the speed and memory of the new range of computers. But time is ticking away on the newspaper day, and Mark and James are busily putting the finishing touches to a technical drawing that they hope will appear in the newspaper. But however excellent this computer-aided design, is it newsworthy?
Yeah, go on.
Can we put this in the paper?
That, we want it large. What is it?
It's a picture of an engine done by a Digiplot.
But true to the traditions of Fleet Street, our hard-nosed editor is having to decide on priorities. Will it grab the readership? It can be hard selling your ideas.
We're trying to sell newspapers here.
Oh, a tough editor. But there's a lot of competition for those column inches. And at this moment, reporters are out and about collecting stories.
Excuse me, we're from Welcome William Farr School and we're doing a survey. Excuse me, I'm from Welcome William Farr School. We'd like to ask you some questions for our school newspaper on fireworks. Is that all right?
Right, so we've got to press Shift F6 to get into the file.
Yep.
And there's even news coming in from around the world.
F7.
The school is linked to TTNS, the Times Network for Schools, which allows them to send and receive electronic messages internationally.
So we're going to receive a message from there. Did they get the message?
Oh, we've just got something coming in from Sydney.
Sydney.
Turramurra High School, Sydney, Australia.
This is not the only school newspaper being produced today. Similar schools in New Zealand have just put their own papers to bed, and we've just been picking up some of their copy, along with material from France, Germany, Australia, and even Saudi Arabia. What do you do with all the material you're collecting?
We send it off to the office and they use what they want and print it onto their computers.
Do you decide what's a good story?
No, we just print it and then let them decide. They're ready to, or whatever, who wants to.
Derek, can I ask you, where's all this stuff coming from?
It's coming from another group of school pupils, who are in the Times Network offices in Gray's Inn Road in London. And they are running another kind of publishing operation where they are looking into things like the Times Computer, World Reporter database, local newspapers, things like that, getting stories together, instead of printing on paper, sending them down telephone lines to the other 100 or so schools that are all making newspapers. Yes, it's a teletype operation.
How much is it costing?
Who?
Well, how much is it costing this school?
Oh, this school? Well, it's costing them a telephone line time, obviously. That's their major cost, photocopying time and computer printer paper. But otherwise, the cost's quite low. They'll recover some of that with sales of the newspaper, advertising, that kind of thing.
But will firms advertise in a school paper?
Welcome to this board meeting.
This is Omega Enterprises, a desktop publishing company that will take on any small printing job. Letterheads, business cards, that kind of thing. Omega is entirely run by children from various Lincolnshire schools, and they're just about to be sold some advertising space.
We'd like to offer you the chance of having an advertisement in the newspaper about Omega.
But how much is this going to cost us?
Well, for postcard size, it's about 50 pence.
How much for a full page?
Well,
please?
A3 it'll be £4. Can you tell me the circulation of the paper, where it's going to go?
Well, it's going around the children in the school and around the village as well.
Right. So it's got to catch the eye of children?
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah. But we've also got to have information because that's what the business is. Like, we've got to put on it that we've got good quality printing.
Definitely, and it's cheap for small businesses.
Yeah.
Right, so do you think we ought to use this symbol?
Yeah, definitely, but much larger and in black.
Right.
Yeah, really large, so it really catches your eye. Okay then, so information, slogan and logo.
This is the symbol they've decided on, and this is how it will appear in their ad. Meanwhile, Omega's financial department are also using computers to work out their costs. After all, this is a real printing business.
Right, from what I've heard, he would like 200 letterheads, A4 size. And from what I've heard and discussed, he's not too bothered about the quality of the paper or the colour of the paper. So I think we ought to start with finance. And how much would it cost for 100 colour A4 size letterhead paper?
It's £4.14 for the colour.
Good quality? Good
They're
quality.
using a spreadsheet so they can make changes and get results rapidly.
Cost.
It'll be £5.28 for 200.
It's a tool they've chosen for easy updating.
We see Archimedes as giving us the opportunity to put real business software into the classroom in Lincolnshire schools. Previously, we've been using scaled-down models of the real word processing, spreadsheet, database, etc. But this gives us the opportunity to put the real packages into the schools for the older children to use either at a simple level or a more sophisticated level. In the future, we hope that we're going to be able to use integrated packages on Archimedes that allow us to readily transfer data from one part of the package to another, for example, from a spreadsheet to a database to update prices and back to the spreadsheet, perhaps then putting the spreadsheet into a word process document in the form of a graph and so on, but allowing easy transfer of material from one part of the package to another.
We've got to produce an invoice for them. So let's go down to the invoice production.
This is one of those integrated packages. It's an accounting package which keeps records of all sales and purchases, monitors receipts, and even picks out bad debtors.
Discount, so that's fine. Tax code, T9. Nominal code is 1001. Invoice print.
Back now to the newsroom, where there's still plenty of action.
When gangs and jobs. You've got to go for an interview. Pardon?
The time has now come to get the stories written up, and the pressure is mounting.
M-I-C-H-I-U-N.
Quite a test, too, of spelling and working as a team.
That's not my fault.
Excuse me for bothering you, but what's your story?
There's a local power cut in the village. Police believe that the vandals were doing it on mischievous night.
Have you spoken to the police?
No, I've rung up this morning, but they're not able to come at the moment.
So what's the next thing you've got to do?
Well, when I finish typing this stuff, I've got to print it out.
OK, I'll let you get on with it. All these computers can be networked, linked together, so the children can pass messages electronically. It's all very well having this stuff coming in from all over the world, but there are more mundane things to go into the paper, like jokes, cricket scores, and the weather. Besides all the weather data that they're getting down the line, from time to time they're able to pick up weather pictures more directly. That's thanks to this microtechnology bus which travels around Lincoln schools.
Can I have a weather report for the newspaper, please? Well, it's just printed one.
While Carol takes the weather report to the paper, the other children on the bus are being shown how computers can be used in weather forecasting.
What we should be getting any second now is the picture of us. It's no good rushing out and waving. It was actually taken about 15 minutes ago. The satellite captures an image of the whole world every 30 minutes. The information is sent out like that. That's the satellite transmitting the numbers. The computer is taking those numbers and converting them into dots of different shades of grey. If you look very carefully at the picture, you can see the dots. The dots are about 10 kilometres square on the ground, so unless you've got a very large hat on, you're not able to be seen. Here's us, and you can see there's a small clear area there in Devon and Cornwall and Dorset and Somerset, but there's a very large and extremely unpleasant bank of grey cloud which starts about on a line level with the Welsh border and moves east. There's a small hole somewhere over Derbyshire and Cheshire, so somebody in Derbyshire and Cheshire might actually be having a little bit of blue sky at this very moment, but the vast majority of the country is covered in a sheet of grey cloud, which is characteristic of a high pressure system. The reason we're using this equipment is because for the first time ever we can get the quality of image which used to be only available on professional systems. Before you needed 10 or 20,000 pounds worth of terminal in order to get this sort of quality image. It's simply because the screen is capable of displaying so many shades of grey all at once. Anyway, we'll go out now and we'll have a look at where the thermometers are, and then you can start taking the readings and logging them onto the other computers so that the computers can do all the hard work and draw all the graphs for us later on.
What's the reading? 9.2.
But it's not all high-tech, satellites and dishes. There's practical work too on the weather. The temperature has been taken every 5 minutes. And then, with other weather information, it's been fed into a spreadsheet. So useful, as we've seen, in organising and manipulating numbers in an easily understandable way.
Now across. I want to pop across. Is it plugged into a brick? Put 9.1.
We're moving into a futuristic look at education now. This is Chernobyl, the day after the nuclear fire. All these pictures come from Landsat 5 that surveys the Earth every 15 minutes. And they've just been incorporated into this computer software.
Now we can show these images because we've got for the first time the ability to put lots of colours on the screen. The fact that you can see these areas is to do with the fact that we can put different shades of the same colour on the screen at the same time. What we're doing, we've picked an image which is an area just outside Portsmouth called Hailing Island. We've chopped out the land and said ignore that and let's concentrate on the water. You can see lines in the water which are in actual fact waves. We can use these images to extract information in areas where it may not be possible even to get a survey team in with a Land Rover and the necessary surveying equipment. We can survey deserts, mountains, we can look for all sorts of features. So let's go back and let's have a look at somewhere a little bit closer to home. Lincoln's not really shades of blue, green and red, but you can see certain features starting to show up. Here's the bypass here. Anybody like to explain why it's white?
It's chalk.
That's
on the
right.
construction.
Anybody like to identify what that is now?
A15?
No?
A46?
It's the A46. In fact, this area here is Nettle, yes. Okay. And there's the Ragby Road interchange. There's the A158 out to Skegness there.
Anyway, I mean, the deadline was an hour ago, and we should have got everything in by then. It could go in as a...
The deadline means it's time to concentrate on the layout and look of the paper. And even though the new computers will make it possible to do all this layout on the screen, there are advantages to doing it by hand. You can certainly get more people involved.
We'll do the rest, and we'll see.
find some weather.
Yeah, I'll get some in a minute. You'll be sleeping.
I found the temperatures. Well done. There. Check them out. That's this, yeah.
Artistic skills are coming into their own in the choice of typefaces.
That might have to print
I can't spell Gothic.
What size of text did you want for the headline?
I think
it should be bigger than normal text.
Well, you can have 3 different sizes really. You can have small, slightly larger and enlarged. And you can have it normal, or bold, or italic. Yeah. Is that all right?
Yeah.
The new computers have great potential for desktop publishing, seeing your layout and typefaces on the screen. All the material, of course, needs editing, and word processing makes that easier.
Slightly larger.
Have you any children who at the age would appreciate it? Not really.
You may wonder what this high technology has to do with the newspaper. The photographs to be included have been taken by a video camera, and the pictures brought back from all over the school. They're still framed onto the computer and printed out. With the video grabber, there's also the chance to have a bit of fun and manipulate the picture. Then on to the job of including it into this desktop published page. For the computer page today, the newspaper is linked up with a primary school in Birmingham, where they've been exploring the sounds the computer can make as the basis for a drama. Here's how they went about it.
Right, now we've got to make up a bit more music for the assembly. We're going to try and be very clever with this, because you're going to make up half the music, and another group of children is going to make up the other half on a different computer, on the Archimedes. All right, so your job is to make me some music that's going to be for the human person exploring the planet and meeting up with an alien. How do you think that person's going to feel?
Frightened.
Frightened, scared?
Lonely.
Lonely, good girl, that's right. So we need music that tells us all those things. Now, if you want frightened, scared, lonely music, what sort of sound are you going to be looking for?
Kind of spooky sounds.
A spooky sound? What else?
Fast and slow music.
Say that again.
Slow music.
Slow, you think? Yeah? Any more words? How do you want it to sound? What sort of sounds are you going to choose?
It starts off far, come near.
A sound that starts far away and gets nearer, which you can do on this, can't you? That's good. What are you going to do to get the sound out of here?
Press that red button.
Right, start with pressing the red button.
Go. That one's good, isn't it? Yeah.
The children create a sound, freeze it,
Keyboard.
and that new sound can then be developed further on the keyboard.
The computers that we've been using in here, the Archimedes and the BBC, have both proved themselves to be very powerful musical instruments. I feel that it's very important that they shouldn't be set apart. An instrument is an instrument, and just because these look flashy and rather special doesn't mean that they're any different. When you get down to it and you've chosen your sound, you have to work together with the other musicians in order to make something that's worthwhile.
So the first thing we have to do is to record.
For the assembly, they're going to use the Archimedes grab reel sounds.
That's set, ready to record.
My heart is beating quietly.
Then they can manipulate and change the sounds in all kinds of different ways.
Dad, echo. Do you know what echo is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's repeating.
Repeating. You've already got a little box that'll do that, haven't you?
Yeah.
We can also do that in the Archimedes. What do you think of it now?
My heart, 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 my heart.
Sounds different.
Of course, computers can be used with traditional music notation and offer facilities for writing and editing music, particularly for older students. But micros can be used in several other areas of music education too. Phil Ellis.
The second area is with MIDI, and there is every reason to suppose that the MIDI packages being produced for the Archimedes will be as good as any others on the market, supporting 16 tracks, maybe 24 tracks, and with all the facilities that are available in that sort of system. The third area is in synthesis. The inbuilt sound chip of the Archimedes should allow people to explore sound, create sound, synthesize it, possibly with a music keyboard, perform in real time high quality sound. And the fourth area is in sound sampling, the speed of the Archimedes allowing a real time oscilloscope display of sound, which is very exciting. The graphic display of sound will be another exciting area to link music and the visual arts, and with appropriate software being able to combine and design the way sound can be displayed could be a very exciting area to explore.
Hello.
It's smaller and bigger.
Why does it do that?
Just because it's his voice.
And how did his voice change to make it happen then?
Getting louder, getting louder.
I think that's probably right, yes. That's one of the best ones we've done.
Schools even further apart than these two in Birmingham and Lincoln can now communicate electronically with each other and with the outside world. Ideally, of course, a laser printer would complete the publishing process. But for now, the Iconoclast newspaper, produced in one school day, is on sale. Hello there. How much is it?
10 pence.
Is it worth it?
Yes.
Oh, all right then. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, what we've seen happening here today could hardly have been imagined a few years ago. So, what are we going to see in the future?
I'd like to see not so much new technology, but more of it in schools, more computers, lots more of them, more access to all this kind of thing. We have most of the tools we need, we just don't have enough tools.
With the new computers, very soon we'll be able to do virtually anything with sounds that we choose to do. That's exciting.
I'm sure that in the 19th century, artists talked about painting as being the art form and the most important development. I'm sure that now we're working in this area of computers. I'm sure that in the 21st century, people will be looking at video screens and monitors rather than going into the museums and art galleries.
I think the future is very exciting. The possibility of using the computer as a tool and to develop what we're doing really does give us the opportunity to prepare children for living and working in a modern technological society.
The visual medium is very new to me. Playing a sound and seeing it is very exciting. I can see a lot of cross-curricular work going on because of that. Lots of links with art and drama. It should be very exciting.